Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal and every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. Today's guest is going to light you up. You'll be motivated, you'll be challenged, and most importantly, you're going to walk away with tools that inspire action both in your life and the lives of others. Audience, here's your homework. How will you serve yourself and others today? Doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Shout out to my two sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, and it deserves to perform like one. Want to think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer? Just text the word optimize to 72000. Optimize to 72000 and get instant access to 6 short, powerful videos, each just 3 to 5 minutes, that reveal simple strategies to unlock peak mental performance. Because when your brain is clear, your business grows. And Epic Impact, the storytelling system that helps your message connect and convert, it's just 4 steps. Engage, persuade, inspire, close with clarity. I use it every day for all my messages. Try it free at epicimpact.ai with code STEVE. Change your messages, change your results. Excited to announce Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast was named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you all of you, my guests and my audience. You've impacted so many people. Let's continue doing that. Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I'm excited for you to join us today, especially if you're female. You want to feel better. You want more energy. You want to come out of that, having that wonderful baby that you just had and feeling like a rock star. Yeah, a rock star. And a bunch of other things. That's what my guest is going to talk about today. I'm super excited. As I told her, I know I'm saying this publicly, I think women are going to take over business. So I want to align myself with all the great women like my guest today. So let's welcome her on. Lindsey, welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve. Thanks so much for having me. I'm excited to chat today.
You're so welcome. We had a great conversation in the green room before the show. You said 2 words that really struck me: body trauma. Never heard that before. Talk about what you mean by that.
Man, well, I guess it would only do it justice to say I've been through a little bit of a winding journey myself. And definitely that was part of what led me here to talk to you today and create the business that I have. I didn't have an easy road. A lot of people see me now at 43 and think, she's probably always, been that way or had an easy time when it comes to health. And it couldn't be further from the truth. So I will try to nutshell it for you, and feel free to interject or ask me any questions. But I was just sharing, I have actually been through a massive weight loss in my past. So in my late 20s, early 30s, I lost over 150 pounds, Steve, which really changed everything about me, changed the way that I saw myself, the way that I treated myself and spoke to myself, and certainly what I thought was possible for myself. And I would say along with that came a lot of emotional processing and baggage of things that I didn't even know existed to be true before I saw it. And so I've gotten kind of the privilege, I would say, to really see things very differently, see myself very differently, and evolve in a way that for the first half of my life, I didn't really think was possible.
It's amazing. I saw the pictures. An audience, when you're listening to this, because this is a recording, you're going to see the picture on the template for YouTube and the podcast down the road of her before and after pictures. They're outstanding.
Oh,
What
thank you.
was the first thing you did to take that step?
I really had to wake up and admit that I was contributing to my own demise. Ironically, Steve, I will tell you, for many years, I thought that what was going on in my body, struggling with obesity and some hormonal imbalance and things like that, I would have told anyone who would have asked me that it was genetic and that
Wow.
that was just how it was going to be, and that there were other people in my extended family that had similar bodies and similar health challenges. And I really just kind of lived under that umbrella that, well, this is just how it is, in a state of acceptance of, well, that this is what my life is going to look like. And I remember distinctly the day that I kind of had a wake up moment and thought, something's not right. This is not me. This is not where my story begins or ends. And I just felt this overwhelming call to do things very differently. And so, even though, of course, I had tried all the things starting from truly like early high school years, I had tried all the diets and all the, hacks and things like that to no success at all. I knew that this time was different, and I knew that in that moment I had made up my mind to give it 100% of me, and to commit to the belief that things could be different for me. And that was when things really started to turn around. And I would never say that it was easy, and it wasn't fast, and it wasn't, something that just felt like a blip. But after a lot of hard work, it felt less challenging because I had already made the decision. I had already made the decision that things were going to be different for me. And I didn't really know how or when or whatever, but that was just the decision that I made. And that's basically what happened. And looking back, I would say I don't honestly remember a lot of the drudgery. I don't remember, it wasn't that I was watching the scale and like getting frustrated. I was just, for the first time ever, allowing myself to enjoy the journey and knowing that it was a journey and that there was no end date or destination really in mind. And I will say, looking back now, having come well on the other side of that, it felt like it was all kind of just the yellow brick road was kind of like unfolding before me. And never in a million years would I have thought that I'd be sitting here talking to you at age 43 in the body that I'm waking up in now, feeling energetic, feeling the most confident that I ever have, and feeling the most in alignment with my own health and choices than I could ever have imagined. So it came out better than I would have ever figured.
Yeah, it was audience a 20-year journey. We talked about that. I want to point that out. This is not a get lose weight quick scheme. It's not all this stuff. I'm not going to name any of this stuff.
Yeah,
It's you took your time and you did it the right way. And I had a thought in my head as you're talking is you just lost a woman.
I did.
150 pounds. You lost a whole woman.
I did. In fact, I will tell you, I remember the day. Well, as I mentioned, I wasn't using the scale during this time. I had basically like sworn off scales for most of my life. And I remember going to a doctor's appointment, and this was probably 2, if not 3 years into this journey, for lack of a better word. And I had no idea how much I weighed, nor how much weight I had lost, but I did know I had one experience, one registry of my highest weight, which was debatable, but I knew kind of ballpark where I was topping out at. And several years had gone by. I went to a doctor's appointment and had to get on the scale just as a routine check. And for whatever reason that day, I happened to glance down, or maybe it was actually the nurse mentioned to me out loud what my current weight was. And I thought, wait, what? There's That's impossible. That's impossible. And so, coming from someone who was previously over 300 pounds, and for the nurse to then tell me that my weight had settled at like 155 was that current register, that I was like, no freaking way. That's not possible. And it wasn't really until that moment that I really started to realize what I had done, or how far I'd come.
Yeah, you're in control of your journey. That's the thing that happens. And we get this noise out in the world. Hey, this diet, this thing, take this, shoot this, do that. It's so confusing for people. I love that you said that. Thank you so much for sharing. So let's dive into the women executives you work with and women,
Yeah.
because health is a mess right now. It's weight and
Yes.
it's honesty. I mean, I think they said last time I checked, 48% of people in America are obese. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's right or number. It's still, I think it's still a high number, whatever it is. Talk about talk about executives and how you help their health. Because I think if you don't have your health, you don't have a business.
Yes, absolutely. That's so true. And I think we underestimate the performance that we have within our control. Truly, I would say that is the biggest thing that I see so many women coming in of all different walks of life and all different walks of health, feeling just completely burnout, overwhelmed, completely dismissed. And I think, especially at this kind of early to mid 40s stage that I'm in personally, I have experienced firsthand some of the dysfunction in our current healthcare system and leaves a lot to be desired. And it's really the most heartbreaking part to me, Steve, is that you start to understand that the generation before us had it so much worse, and the generation before them. And also, there is kind of a level of responsibility that I feel, certainly in this day and age, to make a difference and to provide a different perspective, help people to advocate for themselves in ways that just simply hadn't really been done until now. And I think it's a combination of technology and tolerance that we're seeing
Yeah.
changing. Lots and lots of technology that has changed since basically our parents' generation or our mothers were going through like this perimenopausal window, which is confusing enough, by the way. That's one of the things that, nobody tells us growing up. When we're going through all the little classes about puberty and things like that, they completely miss, giving us any sort of a heads up or expectation on, hey, by the way, when you're in your 40s, you're going to go through all these changes again and it's going to look, different and all of those things. But yeah, the stories that we hear day in and day out are so similar in that, very similar to myself. No one can figure out what exactly is wrong or much less how to help people. And I think it's really a testament to some archaic patterns in the healthcare system that are very diagnostic based, right? So a lot of women and men as well, but certainly in the female market, people are spending so much of their time and brain space just trying to feel like they have a better baseline function. They're just trying to feel like, hey, I have the energy to get through my day. I have a solid mood. I'm motivated to actually do things that matter, and things are aligning for me in a way that feels relatively easy for my age. And I think that one of the things that I see where people are often getting kind of dismissed is that if we don't have a specific condition, like if there's no diagnosis on the table, then oftentimes traditional medical models aren't really sure what to do with us. And I think especially as we come into this season where we're having hormonal shifts that, nothing's badly wrong, but literally it feels like everything's starting to come unravel just a little bit. And it's a very disheartening feeling to not really understand what's going on with your body, much less how to support yourself. And it just all feels very out of reach. So
Mhm.
that's really kind of the state of affairs for the majority of women that come into our practice. They're overwhelmed. They don't have the capacity to do 7,000 things. Many of them have been through the ringer with either like functional health testing or even just passed around to multiple practitioners, and no one's really making sense of what's going on and breaking it down in a way that feels manageable and actually, God forbid, empowering for women who are smart and capable. It's just there's so much misinformation, and I think especially in this day and age, it's such a blessing and curse to live on, chronically online, as we say,
Yeah.
because we do have access to such, greater expansion of information and things like that. But to have a disconnect of what's true for you compared to what everyone on the internet is saying that we should be doing, and it's all conflicting information, it can feel very defeating and just overwhelming. So that's kind of the MO of the type of women that we help. And what's really cool about using the DNA technology is with one little swab of your cheek, we can basically map out everything that your body likes and dislikes and all the neutrals there within as well. So it's going to show you basically how to eat for your specific body's chemistry, how to supplement, how to work out, how to optimize hormones, how to actually optimize brain chemistry. So we're looking at like neurotransmitter function and how to stabilize all the systems all at once. So it's just the coolest thing, and I don't know why everyone on the planet isn't doing it. That's the mission, right? Is to put this testing into as many lives as possible.
Yeah. I've never thought this before. Now I wish I was a woman.
Well, I don't know. Careful what you wish for,
Yeah,
Steve.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But can men do this DNA test as well?
Yes,
Yeah. So it's,
absolutely.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I was half kidding because you're female and I can see you gravitate, but men can, yeah, I'm blown away right now because being part of fitness for 20 years,
Yeah.
there's so much noise and it's even worse now. Every
Yeah.
celebrity's got this, and it's the row you see on commercials, not putting
Yeah.
anybody down. They do what they do, but it's
Yeah.
confusing as hell for people.
It is. And oh my gosh, like the packaging only gets prettier, the claims only get juicier. It's a tough time to be out here when you're like heavily influenced by marketing. We've got
Yeah.
all influencer marketing now that didn't exist when, we were coming of age, and people are very convincing, people who don't know anything about you or whether this particular supplement or dietary style or workout plan, they don't know if that's going to specifically work for your body, for your current state of affairs, but they make it so convincing. They make it so tempting. So,
Yeah. Well, so again, I take a swab of my cheek, or if whoever's doing it, you could give me my whole wellness journey.
yes, absolutely.
Allergic foods I should stay away from, stuff that affect my stomach. What
Yep.
workouts should I do? More resistance training, more cardio. What even down to how much I should be doing weekly.
Relatively speaking,
Yeah,
yes. So there's always going to be some fluidity, Steve, as far as like what's
sure.
relevant for you in this stage of life. The cool thing about the DNA is that the DNA doesn't change. So what we're looking at is genotype analysis. So genotype analysis has decades worth of data that basically shows you, okay, if you have genotype A, then the body's going to respond this way to X, Y, or Z. That also oftentimes presents very, very specific interventions. So for example, for women who are struggling with, say, hormonal balance, we can see not only how the body's converting all of these hormones in a row, but also how it's able to metabolize, say, something like estrogen, as well as even looking at estrogen receptors, which is going to give a strong indication of number one, the level of support that you're likely to need in a system like perimenopause, as well as the types of interventions that are going to be perfectly paired for your genotypes. So the genotypes are something that are set in stone, they don't change, but we can actually impact the performance of bodies of genes or like systems in the body.
Yeah.
That's kind of the epigenetic impact. So that's where the lifestyle is contributing, but the chemistries don't technically change. So you test once in your life, Steve, and you've got basically an entire user's guide for your body when it comes to all these things. But it always has to look through the lens of what's relevant for now, right? So that's why one thing that we do very differently than any other company on the market is we do human analysis and interpretation. So we're actually looking at your intake form instead of just using all automated reports that are going to basically tell you, okay, go to bed earlier and eat more vegetables and like the biggest eye roll, right? We're actually looking at, well, what are you needing right now? First of all, what's your age? Is there any relevant medical history? Are there specific lifestyle factors that we need to know about you? So for example,
Hmm.
it's a different consultation, different set of protocols, whether you are 64 or 24, right? And then depending on your goals and depending on current state of health, right? So wherever you are in the journey, you can always come back to use that user's guide through the lens of what's right for right now. But a lot of the things that we're actually suggesting also don't change. So things like your baseline micronutrient profile and things
Mhm.
like, methylation that gets a lot of press in the world of genomics, where we're looking at these super complex chemical reactions and detox pathways that are going to affect you more so over time, yes, but definitely situational, as in if you've had, a mold exposure, then there are going to be certain priorities for that person that would be more relevant versus the person who doesn't really have any known exposures, and maybe they're not having any health concerns, they're just looking for more optimization and longevity. So definitely can be serving to all types.
Great for athletes. Oh my
Great for
God.
athletes. Absolutely.
Holy
Yes.
moly.
Yes.
And it's interesting. Our nutrition, our food in the grocery store sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some stores, my wife works at Trader Joe's, a little disclaimer here, but I know they try to do better. Yeah, I love it too. So sounds like I was just going to ask you after the show. So I asked you on the show. It's one of the better places to go. But
Yeah.
again, we're so busy in life. Our time is so limited. I run into that. So I try to have things available that I can do 20, 30 minutes of eating so I don't
Yep.
miss a meal
Yes.
or miss that meal and have that huge meal. The things that most people know about. So
Yeah.
take me through the journey. You get a client comes in
Yep.
and they want to do the test. How's that journey go? What's it look like?
It's honestly the easiest test, I think, on the market. You basically receive a little kit in the mail, you swab your cheek, and you send that little swab sample back to our lab. Takes a few weeks to process, but then once you get the results back, we have our team of coaches that actually sit down with your file, go through, fine-tooth comb it, compared to your intake form. So there's a pretty in-depth intake form where we get to know you and all of your current concerns and goals, as well as anything that's relevant to your results and how you're going to actually put this into play so that we can give you a plan that's built for you. So for example, for our executives that are traveling, 3, 4 weeks out of the month, it's going to be possibly a different set of lifestyle intervention compared to someone who's a stay-at-home mom with 3.5 children or whatever the case is, right? So that's where we can truly tailor it to you to make sure that we're hitting all the things that are going to feel seamless for you and sustainable. Because honestly, getting this much information, without a human interpretation and kind of a filter, so to speak, can be overwhelming, and you're not going to do anything with it if we don't really kind of map it out for you for most people. I know there's always exceptions, but that's kind of the
Sure.
experience that we like to create is like, hey, let's tailor this to you for right now, what you have capacity for, your level of change. We also see some people that come in that need the baby steps version versus someone who comes in who's like, look, I'm ready. I want to do a 180, literally throwing everything else out the window, give it to me straight. Let's go fast. So
Yeah.
it can kind of be tailored to whichever pace, the person's looking for.
So, God, this is incredible.
I think
You
it's the
become my new
coolest
best
thing.
friend,
Thank
Lindsey.
you.
It really is. And my background in fitness and nutrition. So instead of going to a TikTok person saying, hey, eat more broccoli because broccoli will help you lose weight, or,
Mm,
do this or do that, these different things, noise again, you
yes.
use science based, but you
Yeah.
take the scientist out of it in the sense of we bring in the human, your team, to talk to Steve Ramona and go, okay, here's what we got. Tell me
Yeah.
more about you.
Yes, exactly.
That's the game changer.
Yes. I mean, that's the biggest thing that we hear far and away, Steve, is people say to us during their session. So not only are we putting the report together with human analysis, but we're also doing a one-on-one coaching session so that we meet with you and you break down everything to make sure that you're understanding, hey, these are your priorities. As well as, not everything's going to need intervention right now. So there are going to be things that are like, hey, over the next 10 years, keep an eye on this, or maybe throw this on your regular lab testing with your regular provider, or whatever the thing might be. But the biggest thing, far and away, that we hear time and time again is people who say, I have never had someone see me so thoroughly and put together a plan so thorough and also understandable that feels so doable. And I think that's the biggest difference is when you know that there is something that's being mapped out specifically for your chemistry. Well, I can tell you from a chemical perspective, it's literally foolproof. It's not going to work because it's literally built off of your chemical patterns. So that's the thing I think I wish people would understand that the genes are actually creating all of this activity. All of the cellular activity has a genetic component underlying. So whether you're, building muscle or whether you're needing digestive support or whatever the thing is, literally like you name it, there's a gene for that or a family of genes for that.
Yeah.
That's where it all begins. It is so foundational that it's almost like instead of trying to piecemeal, well, okay, I need one solution for my thyroid, and I need one solution for my hair growth, or I need one solution for sleep. It's literally like a systems approach instead of having to piecemeal everything together that maybe this one's causing a side effect over here or whatever the case may be. It's like, no, 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 no. Let's just, it's like you shake the etch a sketch, right? And you just create a new blueprint starting from the ground up.
Yeah.
And so the thing that happens is people can actually say, okay, cool, this makes sense. And if we've done our job correctly, then we've paired it with a pace that feels doable, sustainable. And it's going to feel like the easiest thing that you've ever done, but also the most impactful because we're going super nerdy, Stephen. We can map out for you these things that are considering like your methylation pathways. Which not to drag you too deep into the science of it, but these are things, this is really where aging begins. It begins by little tiny cellular dysfunction that starts to compound over the years. And it's really not things that are usually super complex, right? It's like those
Hmm.
little baseline cellular functions that just need a little gas in the tank, but like maybe it's a premium fuel, or something like that. And when we can get you, even with the right supplements, even if that's literally all that you do, taking out some of the wrong supplements often is kind of a big aha moment for a lot of people. But even if we can just get you on the correct fuel, so to speak, that's going to give you better cellular function, it's pretty radical.
Yeah, it's I'm blown away because you're getting people off prescriptions. They're not relying on those. They're saving money on those. It's this rabbit hole could get deep, and we're going to bring you back for a sequel because we've got a lot more to talk about. We're coming to the end here, but it's going to be one of my favorite questions. I've done over 800 shows. I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Tell me a story of somebody you work with and the end result. I'm so excited to hear.
Okay, well, the first thing that popped to mind was actually my parents, Steve. So this
Wow.
the testing can work for literally anyone of any age. We've supported over the years anything from children that are having signs of like ADHD and things of that nature to certainly women like myself who were going through a lot of struggles, whether it be with digestive stuff, hormonal stuff, body composition, whatever the thing is. But probably some of my favorite clients, and I joke all the time that they're my poster children, are my mom and dad, who are both in their 70s. And you would never ever know that they were in their 70s because they look and act like they are probably in their 50s at best. And it's really the most satisfying, like emotional thing to see, to be able to give back and support them in that way and empower them in that way. And instead of seeing them kind of pass through the system, so to speak, of all of the different, 5 to 10 typical supplements that are given to people of that generation, seeing them actually remove medications, which not that I can give that medical advice blindly, but with their practitioner's green light, they're actually able to just optimize based on supplements and lifestyle. It's been the most amazing thing. So my mom has actually struggled with something called psoriatic arthritis for many years and has seen radical results with that. My dad's had some GI stuff that he's been battling for the longest time. And recently had to come through a pretty major procedure, but basically they're able to bounce back from these type of things at a rate that has their doctors going, "What are you doing? What is it that you're doing?
Wow.
Because this is not normal." My dad just turned 77 last week, actually, and had a pretty major procedure this summer. And his doctor truly came back to him in 2 weeks and said, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." And I am just so forever grateful to see them thriving and hopefully going to continue to watch them enjoy this stage of life for a very long time.
I'm so glad I asked that question. One, I'm glad your parents and God bless them. But that recovery faster at
Yeah.
over 60 is a
Yes.
game changer
Yes.
for
Yes.
people because I talk to people that go in, 70s a hospital for some pretty minor procedure and they're out for months or
Yes.
weeks in
Mhm.
bed because the
Mhm.
recovery time is slower. On
Yes.
top of the weight loss and off medicine and more energy. I'm glad you told that story because audience, you're out there and this would help for a 30-year-old who has
Yes.
knee surgery,
Yes.
let's say.
Well, it did help me. I will say that's part of the we glossed over a lot of things. So the weight loss was kind of one big thing, but there were
Yeah.
also some procedures that I had following that weight loss, Steve, that really took me out. I had a procedure probably 2 to 3 years after stabilizing my weight, and it was a cosmetic procedure, and I was under the knife for about 9 hours,
Wow.
and 9 hours, and my body was not the same for years. And that was really kind of a pivotal time. The part where I actually brought in the DNA testing was the part where I actually put my life and health back together, because after that major procedure, literally nothing was right. Everything was kind of spiraling during a time where I should have been thriving and having come out of this weight loss and situation. It was a tough time for many years following that. So that's kind of the testament to the chemical component, is like, life's going to happen. And I mean, even going through different exposures here, there, and whatever, there aren't always things that you can prevent, although, of course, some of them are elective. But as life happens and as health kind of changes, being able to come back to your body's kind of blueprint chemically is the best thing that I could ever, you know, give to someone. It's truly a gift, and it's the gift of longevity.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen to that. And what people don't know, they don't know. That's the problem with healthcare and nutrition and wellness. We're gonna because I am your new partner in this. We're gonna talk more
Great.
because I want people to serve. This is doing business with a servant's heart. We come alongside together. How do you serve? You serve yourself first by taking care of your health. So you
Yes.
can go out and serve and uplift and bring value to other people. You got me fired up. Let's end the show. This is so wonderful. We're going to bring you back. Audience, she's coming back, but we'll get all her contact information in a minute. Let's do a little improv. Let's do a little fun.
Okay, let's
So
do it.
I'm going to reserve a table at a restaurant.
Mhm.
Me and you're going to sit at the table. I used to not come to the table. Now I want to come and sit with you. Who are the three people you would invite, influencers in your life that are dead or alive, or people that you've read just have influenced you? But more importantly, at that table, what food would you order?
Oh man, this is a good one. Okay, my first jump would be my mama, as we call her. My mom's mom would have to be there because she was such a huge impact on me, and I miss her so dearly. And I think that she would absolutely just lose it to see me and to see what I've done with this business and the way that I'm supporting people. I think that would be just the coolest, the ultimate thing to share with her. Um, the next person, gosh, two more people?
Two more.
Two more. Okay. Then I would have to say I would pick Marilyn Monroe. Is this really cheesy?
No, not at
Okay.
all.
I think Marilyn is kind of the ultimate inspo, being a woman and being like very body positive and learning how to work with what you got and also have a lot of fun by doing that. I think that would be just a hoot to be able to have a
Oh yeah,
conversation.
I got a lot of questions for her, but yeah.
I know, right?
Oh
Gosh.
yes.
That's a tough one to top. Okay, so my mama, we've got Marilyn. The third one would probably have to be, hmm, gosh, there's so many different ones. Maybe I should pick a male figure.
Sure. Whatever pops in your head.
Yeah. Um, I would actually have to pick a yogi. I would say Yogi Bhajan would be the third person if you're familiar. I studied Kundalini yoga for a long time and it was something that completely changed my life. So that would be he would be my third person because he is basically the one who was responsible for bringing that yogic technology to the West and to the US. And so that would be, wow, we're going to be at dinner for a long time. This is going to be a very long.
Yes. Yeah. So we'll probably have to. Well, you tell me what you would like to eat. This is what you would like to eat. We'd all eat what your favorites are.
Okay. I would eat, I would probably pick something that maybe doesn't exist because I am strictly gluten-free, Steve. But nothing, no logic applies here. I would order the world's best gluten-free fried chicken.
Amen. I'm gluten free too, so I would. You got me. It's amazing how good gluten free tastes. It's. I just tell the audience. I've been since May. It's not perfect, but I'm getting better. But I just had gluten free lasagna yesterday. It's
You're
good.
kidding. Oh my gosh, I made gluten-free lasagna soup last night.
We were meant
How
to be on a
funny.
show together. This is well.
We
You
were.
definitely have to come back.
I
Um,
would love to.
God, God bless you. You have
Thank
a business, but you're helping and serving people in a major way. With health is just one of the biggest things around. I know people listening and want to connect with you. How can they do that?
I'm usually found on Instagram at
Yeah.
the Designer Jeans Co. Definitely keep up with us there. And then I also just launched a Substack where I'm basically sharing my inner world with the world through the lens of being a 43-year-old biohacker.
And I'm going to put that in the show notes because I'm going to grab it because I got a lot of people to share
Oh,
this with. Lindsey, thank you again. God bless you. I keep saying that.
my
It's just, I'm so
pleasure.
fired up right now. But audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. But here's why Lindsey has given us a gift. Here's the gift. You listen to her and you go, I just talked to my friend. Her health is struggling. She's running this mega business, or she's starting as an entrepreneur, wherever their journey's at, and they're struggling. Or you hear energy. How do I lose weight? Those share this link with her or them, even male.
Yeah.
And they listen to Lindsey for 10, 15 minutes. I guarantee you they're going to make an impact. It's their job to make to make the next step, to reach out to Lindsey or do something about it. But that's what podcasts to me are. It's gifts. Let's keep continuing to do that. Me and Lindsey want to thank all of you for watching or listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. You guys have a great day. Talk to you soon.